The NFL Scouting Combine is one of the most important events every single year leading up to the NFL Draft, but as we look at it in the day-to-day, let's take a little bit of a look back at the history lesson of the NFL Scouting Combine and how it became what it is today. I'm Cody Rourke of Pro Football Network. Now with the NFL Scouting Combine kicking off this week, we take a look back at how the event became what it did, and going all the way back to 1982 when the National Football Scouting Incorporated held the first ever National Invitational Camp. Now Dallas Cowboys President and General Manager Tex Schramm was a driving force behind this proposal going forward as to what we see now with the current product today. It's evolved over time, but he's widely responsible for it becoming a major part of the National Football League. And in 1985, the 28 NFL teams agreed to host a centralized NFL Combine. This reduces the overall cost of holding additional camps for prospects and puts them in one centralized location. It's paid off really well for the NFL, by the way, here. But that's not the only thing that's changed with the NFL Scouting Combine. Media coverage has become a very big part of what we see now with the Scouting Combine, the product on the field, the evaluation process. And cameras were not previously allowed to cover the event until 2004 after the NFL Network was launched back in 2003. This allowed daily recap, daily coverage of the event with the NFL. Now, fast forward to 2022, you get the NFL Network, you get ESPN with long, extensive coverage of the event. Not just recaps, you get to catch everything live. That's one reason why we tune in and why we love it. But let's talk about the location of the NFL Scouting Combine. Now, Indianapolis, Indiana, since 1987, has really been the home to the Combine at the RCA Dome and now at Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, going forward after 2022, that could change, though, as the NFL Scouting Combine location will be up for a bidding process. So it could be on the road every single year in a bidding process for various stadiums, various locations going forward after 2022. We'll see if that comes to fruition here after this season here. But let's talk about the testing aspect, why people tune in. What type of test do prospects have to go through? Well, when you talk about physical testing, you have the 40-yard dash, you have the bench press, broad jump, vertical jump, three-cone drill, and I know everyone makes a lot of deal out of the three-cone drill and the times and the speeds that we see there, but at the end of the day, it's one of the important measuring aspects here that NFL scouts get on potential prospects that could be a fit for their team. Physical measurements of prospects also happen: height, weight, body fat percentage. These are important elements as well. So when we talk about physical testing, we have to look at the other side of it. We talk about medical testing, well, x-rays, physicals, and if a player has had any injury history in his career, they go back and they evaluate former injuries to see if there's been progression, if there's anything like degenerative risk of tissue, joints, whatever it may be. They do a deep dive into that. Plus, they have functional movement screening, which is conducted as well, and Cybex testing, which tests flexibility, and it also tests your joint movement. This is an important element that has now become a big focus of that. And one could argue that the medical testing here at the NFL Scouting Combine is probably the most important part of the Combine outside of being able to watch players do it. This is what NFL teams really value the most. What else do they value as well? You go to the interview process here conducted by NFL organizations. Teams can conduct up to 60 player interviews that must be 15 minutes or less with prospects to help to get to know prospects a little bit more and deep dive into some history. They can ask some very important questions about what prospects maybe have done in their career, incidents, or things that give them a better idea as to if they take a chance on the player, are they getting the right guy in mind both on the field and off the field. This is your history lesson here of the NFL Scouting Combine, courtesy of Pro Football Network. Enjoy the week's activities. We look forward to watching players test.